So those are probably my three big things. But I'm also somebody that, I'll add one more just for the sake of the conversation, is I'm somebody that when I came into office, I wanted to make sure that we were delivering real results. Because too often you hear folks say, oh, it's all talk from these politicians.
Right.
You know, they came in, they said they were going to do all this, and what's changed? Look outside, nothing's changed. So I went to our staff and I said, what are the long overdue projects? You know, what have we been fighting for years?
Yeah.
They pointed out three things to me. We had a 100-year-old water main running under our main street. So in Morristown, we had a 120-year-old water main
Jeez.
that had our water running through it, being dispersed to the town. It was a concrete water main. Should have been replaced before you and I were born.
Right.
That was neglected. We've attacked that. The phase one of the water main started earlier this year. The first phase will be completed by October. That's a $4 million project. It's going to be probably like 4 phases, but we started it. I want people in our community to drive down Main Street and say, oh, wow, they're finally fixing the water main. That's crazy.
Yeah.
We finalized a park. It's called Percheron Park. That was in the works for 15 years. There were people that donated private money to get that park done that died.
Oh,
like
shit.
literally spent their money and never saw the park come to fruition. And that we were faced with a decision as council. Are we going to finish this project? Or are we going to just scrap it?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, let's get it done. You know, people have been waiting for this for a decade. You know I wasn't on council 20 years ago when they said they would do this, but let's just deliver, get it done, because let's restore people's faith in government. Let's show them that government can do good when we elect good people that are committed to public service and not themselves.
Yeah.
And the reality is there's a lot of people that don't do that. And we need more leaders, young leaders, diverse leaders that put people over politics.
Yeah.
And that's been my mantra. I always say, I'm here. I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, or independent. I'm here working for all of us.
Yeah. Everything you said, it aims towards being inclusive to whether it's like you're talking about the little guy or the big guy or just projects in general. How has, I guess, on the federal level, like, I guess you could say right now, it seems like with the talks, there's lack of being inclusive. How's that trickle down to like the local level, and how does it affect your community? The things that you see like in the mainstream media, does that trickle down into like where you're at, and how do you handle things like that?
Absolutely. I mean, I told you that project was $4 million, the water main project. We got $2 million from the Environmental Protection Agency through the Joe Biden infrastructure bill. The moment Donald Trump came in, he canceled all federal grants.
Oh.
And the judge turned that around. They said that that's illegal. You can't do that. But there was a moment in time where we were like, holy crap, we might get $2 million of our $4 million. We might wake up tomorrow with a $2 million hole in our budget because a water main replacement is woke. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was absolutely ridiculous. And I try to shine that as an example to folks to say, like, this is an example of how that would have significantly affected Morristown residents. Because you know where we would have to gone to get the $2 million to make up for that gap?
Where?
The taxpayers. No one wants to pay more taxes, right?
Yeah.
Like, so, you know, that example, and, you know, we were lucky. We ended up getting the money and everything was fine. But there's millions of communities across the country that weren't lucky and lost that funding.
Yeah.
And that can really burn a hole in someone's budget.
Right.
So that's an example of something where some of the craziness that's coming down from the administration, where they kind of see it as like, oh, you know, we're doing like this like cool thought experiment, has a real deal effect on people's lives and the quality of water that they're drinking on a day-to-day basis. I'm committed as mayor. My job is to keep my community safe.